Hello, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, beautiful souls. Good morning, beautiful empaths. I'm so excited, guys. You can actually see the smile on my face. It's a Monday. It's a beautiful week, and I can't wait to share with you guys. So, basically, thank you for joining this page. For all those new subscribers, thank you for joining the family. And for all those who have been with me, please, thank you for standing with me. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for the love. I appreciate you all and I love you all. So today's subject, I'm going to talk about something different. I'm going to talk about how the narcissist siphons your energy. So how do the narcissists steal your energy? How do they take your energy away from you? Because you've had a lot of those stories whereby narcissists have been in fact regarded as being or referred to as being energy vampires. So this is the only reason why they're called energy vampires is because they depend and they feed off of other people's energy. So in this kind of situation, you might have realized that there's been one of those moments when you've been dealing with a narcissist. So maybe you've been at home and that narc is your mom or your dad, or you're in that kind of home whereby you're living with a narc as actually your husband or your wife or your relative, sisters or brothers. So then for some reason you realize that actually you had run low on energy. I mean, it's like if you try to feel yourself and then it's like you just don't understand why you're feeling like that. Your energy has gone, all your energy has left. You've run very, very low on energy and it's like you cannot do nothing. You can hardly move, you can hardly do nothing. So then you realize that you have that feeling that something has happened to you and usually you are very, very low on energy. So normally what happens in this situation is that in that situation, you have just engaged a narcissist. And maybe probably because you don't know that, you don't know that you probably, something has happened to you between you and the narc. So you don't know what has happened, but most likely it is very possible when you have that kind of a feeling, especially if you're an empath, because empaths, they have that kind of, they have that ability to feel energy at all levels. So they will know when they are high on energy and they will also know when they are low on energy. An empath will just feel it straight away. So in this situation, I'm going to give you a few cases, a few ways in which narcissists tend to siphon off or feed off your energy. Now, I can talk about a situation where you just woke up in the morning, you guys have a beautiful night, you had a beautiful night with your partner or something like that, or even sometime you had a beautiful evening with your mom or whatever, because as I was saying, a narcissist can be anybody. You know what I mean? So it's not only it does not only have to be a partner who is a narcissist. So you wake up in the morning and eventually you notice that someone is coming to you and starting to spark some kind of an argument. You know what I mean? So out of the blue, nothing has happened. You just woke up in the morning, you come to somebody, or somebody comes to you, somewhere in that house, and they spark off an argument. So for some reason you end up arguing. You know what I mean? You don't know how the argument started. You don't even know what has caused the argument, but for some reason you find yourself actually very intensively arguing with someone. And that argument, or misunderstanding, whatever it is, that fake misunderstanding, it will go on for a couple of minutes actually before you guys settle down. Now, somewhere deep into that argument, the more you argue and argue and argue, you're going to realize that you're actually starting to lose a lot of energy. You know what I mean? And the person who is actually arguing with you happens to also get, as you're losing energy, the person who is arguing with you is getting empowered for some reason. So what is happening behind the scenes? Because guys, narcissists, they are very, these people, they are evil. And for me, in my opinion, I like to relate narcissism with evil. It's not because I like, but because that's the way it is. These people, they are evil and they're dealing with the devil. You know what I mean? So whatever they are doing has everything to do with stealing energy from you, whatever you have, your physical possessions or your material possessions, whatever, and including your energy. So you have an argument, and eventually you completely run low of energy. And after the argument, so you sit down somewhere and you're thinking, after all, what exactly have we been arguing about? Because you're trying now to add up the pieces, you know what I mean? So the narcissist, after arguing with you, they just walk away and leave. And then you just somewhere down there, you're feeling low, you're feeling drained, you're feeling like, what exactly is happening? It's like you're feeling very, very bad and very low on energy, and you don't know what has happened, you know what I mean? So, but what is happening behind the scenes is that those people, they wake up very low on fuel. You know what I mean? They wake up with a big, because a narcissist is like an empty void. It's like from the inside, they're empty. They have nothing inside. You know what I mean? I've always tried to compare, I've always wanted to prefer to compare narcissist with an empty shell, like an eggshell, the shell without the content. You know what I mean? So for a narcissist to be productive, for an egg to have meaning or to have value, it has got to have the content inside. So when an egg is empty, it's an empty shell, and that means a narcissist is compared to an empty shell whereby they do not have nothing inside, and they need somebody to refuel them, to refill them, you know what I mean, to resupply them with whatever fuel they need. So what happens behind the scenes, these people, these individuals, they come around and they spark an argument from you. You know what I mean? They are very tricky, they are very clever. So they will try to look around and see what can they start with, what kind of drama should they start with. They will try to pick up something. And for them living with you, they will know some of those things that trigger you. So they will know where to start and where to start the argument. So they will just all of a sudden spark an argument. You know what I mean? So the argument is going to get very intensive. They will come with the intent of showing you that they have come to attack you. You know what I mean? In the beginning, you will know that they have come to attack you. And of course, this is a psychological manipulative game they use. So for you, in response to that argument, you're going to start defending yourself. And then you're going to start exchanging defenses with the narcissist. Oh, this and this, that one happened. This and this happened, that one happened. So you're going to start arguing very, very intensively. When the argument is over, you're going to realize that actually you're feeling very bad, you're feeling very negative, you're feeling very, very, very low. You don't even know why you've started the argument. Then you're starting to think, why did I even start this argument in the first place? Now you're trying to find the reason. Why have we been arguing in the first place? You cannot point a finger, what have we been arguing about? Because normally there's actually no reason for you guys to argue. But because the narcissist is coming for a specific reason to siphon your fuel from you, to siphon your energy from you, and starting some sort of an argument, you are actually refueling them, because you are the energy source and the narcissist is the empty void. So there's an empty void, and then there's you who is the energy source. So for somebody to get energized, they have got to come and sort of sparkle some kind of an argument, which in return refuels them and then drains you as the individual, as the empath who is with them. You know what I mean? So that's how it works. So you do like an exchange. Because a narcissist doesn't have the natural means to regenerate themselves on an individual basis, on individual level. They don't have the ability to re-energize themselves. It's not people you will tell, okay, so that you need to do this to feel good, you need to do that to feel good. They don't have feelings. So anyway, there will always be empty voids. So, but then you as a person, you will know that, okay, so now maybe, for example, you're feeling bad, or maybe you're feeling low on energy. So you will know the things you need to do for you to re-energize yourself as a person. You know what I mean? But narcissists can't do that. So they will wait for you to re-energize, and then they will come and take the energy from you. So that's how it works with the narcissist. It's some kind of a mind game. You know what I mean? So it's an exchange. So they take the energy from you, and then they drain you. So you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, usually you're going to realize that when you guys finish arguing, when the argument is over, you're feeling very low on energy and vibration, and then the narcissist is feeling very happy. Because the narcissist wants to argue with you and make sure that they win. A narcissist has got to win in any sort of argument. When they do not win, it makes them feel very, very bad, and actually it can drive them insane. You know what I mean? It can drive them also into rage. So they cannot accept that they have to make sure that they win. And whichever argument you guys are arguing, they have got to make sure that they win, because that is now when the exchange happens. When they show some sort of a winning, when they show that they are the winners, or when they prove that they're winners, that is actually the only thing that energizes them now. victory energizes a narcissist, you know what I mean? And on the other hand, loss de-energizes them. So it's like feel the opposite. They can even feel worse than they were before when they lose in an argument. They don't like to lose an argument, you know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. So I just wanted to make this point. I made it a bit longer to make those people understand who sometimes they're feeling drained. You know, when you're getting an argument with a narcissist, end of the day, they don't know where their energy has gone. All of a sudden, they're feeling down. So I just wanted to make it longer and explain the background of what is happening actually before you get that kind of situation. So that is one of them. The arguments. They will spark an argument, very, very deep, intensive one, and that argument, during that, you're exchanging energies, and you're giving them your energy, and then they're giving you frustration, and eventually siphoning and sucking out your energy from you. And that's how they do it. Second way a narcissist will do, I want to make it very, very clear in this situation, guys. I've usually tried to make you understand that narcissists, they're agents of the devil. So they are very, very evil people, and they are associated with dark powers and dark energies behind them. It may be very hard for you to understand, but with time you can start to realize and know that narcissists, they're agents of the devil. And some of the time, most of the time actually, I will tell you something very, 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 very sensitive. In this case, it's going to include that situation whereby you guys are involved in a relationship, and some of the time you have got some kind of you're involved in some kind of an intimate relationship, and that relationship actually sometimes includes having sex. So very careful, guys. You have to be very, very careful. This one, I've seen it myself, and I'm sharing it with you here so that you can know the next time when you have sex, you will want to know. Maybe that time you don't know you're dealing with one or what. In that time I may have to feel sorry for you, but you have to be very, very careful when you're dealing with narcissists. When they're having sex with you, they tend to perform some sort of a ritual, because these people, they're like half witches. They're like witches, because they know all these kind of witchcraft things, how to practice witchcraft and everything. You know what I mean? So they also know that through sex, it is one of the best practice the narcissist will use to siphon your energy from you. The best for them is like the best practice they will use to siphon energy from you. So most of the time you'll find that when you're having sex, after that sex, because you see, sex is between two people. So you interchange, you know what I mean? You exchange energies, you know what I mean? You don't take energy from somebody, you exchange, because you have two people who have mutual feelings with each other, you know what I mean? But with a narcissist, you are having sex with an empty void, you know what I mean? It's like having sex with somebody who is dead, because the narcissist doesn't exist. That vessel you're looking at in front of you, that is an illusion. It's not even there, you know what I mean? So in the spiritual aspect of things, that physical vessel you're looking in front of you, who you're calling your partner or mother or whatever, that is an illusion. It's not there, guys. So you're having sex with an object. Intimately, you are having sex and exchanging, trading your energy with an empty vessel. There's no one there actually. Don't look at the narcissist as a person. Those people, they're not people. You know what I mean? They're just vessels. They are vessels which have something behind them, that energy behind them that is actually pushing them and making them do all those things they do to people. So whichever vessel you're looking at in front of you, in your bed, making love with, and I will tell you how you know that. I will tell you how to recognize that actually you're making love to an empty object. When you're making love to a narcissist, you're going to be very close, pay very close attention to the way you feel. You're going to realize that you feel like you're having sex, but at the same time, you don't feel the person who is in front of you. You know what I mean? It's very hard to explain, but there is that feeling whereby on emotional level, you are not attached to that person sexually. Even if you feel, yes, because you are an empath, you have got genuine emotional feelings. So for some reason, you're going to realize that you do not have that. There is that level of emotions you have when you're having sex with somebody. So when you're having sex with somebody, instead of exchanging your emotions with them, you're going to realize that actually you're losing emotions to those people. You know what I mean? So it's like you're actually having sex or even making love to an empty vessel, something that you do not feel on emotional level. You cannot feel. The empaths, you will agree with me that when you're having sex with a narcissist, is many cases, yes, in the beginning you might have tried to feel something with them when you're having sex with them, because sometimes there was that illusion, the trauma bond was still activated. The love bombing, the trauma bonds. But when the thing gets longer, when that relationship gets deeper, you're going to start to realize that actually, when you're making love to them, you do not feel them on emotional level. There is something missing. Always, even after sex, you will feel like you will feel like you just collapsed completely. There's no even a drop of energy left in you. You know what I mean? There's no energy left. You have completely lost everything. All your energy you started with, it has gone, and you don't know where it has gone. And for some reason, what you've been doing spiritually is like you've been transferring your energy to the narcissist, because the narcissist, they always want to use the sexual games, the sexual incidents as their point of contact with you, to siphon as much energy as possible, because they know that when you're having sex, that is the best time they have for them to get the energy they need from you. You know what I mean? So you have to pay very close attention. And now, this one is very important for you to understand, because when you're having sex with a narcissist, you might want to feel, because usually when you're an empath, you have got that emotional connection with somebody. You know what I mean? For at least you can feel something very deeply emotional with somebody. You know what I mean? But when you're dealing with a narcissist, you're going to realize that you cannot reciprocate. That feeling is not reciprocated, because you are giving somebody a feeling, but at the same time you're feeling empty. You know what I mean? That feeling is not reciprocated back to you. And for some reason, you don't feel emotionally connected. Yes, they will pretend that they feel you. You know what I mean? But a narcissist, let me tell you, they will not feel you at any level. When you're getting intimate with them, they will not feel you at any level. You will always feel that you are the one who is very deeply trying to get into their to feel that emotional bond within them. But for some reason, you are still going to feel empty. Anytime you engage intimately with a narcissist, whether it is sex or I don't know, whatever, romance, end of the day, you're still going to feel empty. You will feel like actually you've been making love to an empty object somewhere in front of you. So that's how it works. And those are the two common ways that narcissists use to siphon energy from you. One can be, the most common one is through arguments, very, very intensive arguments. If you're dealing with a psychopath, they may have to harm you physically. You know what I mean? You've had those stories whereby those people have taken knives and beaten up with their wives and stabbed them all over the place, and that is the only way that gives them fuel. But that is for a psychopath. You know, those people who are actually even physical. But for all these socials and sociopaths and narcissists, they are much more into the abuse. You know, they want to come, and it has got to be verbal. It has got to be. It doesn't have to be physical with them, so it can be a verbal kind of exchange. You know what I mean? Whereby they take energy from you through some sort of a verbal exchange. So that can be fight, you know, like kind of fight, argument, you know what I mean, misunderstanding. So they like those they like that chaos. It has got to be very intensive chaos for a narcissist to get energy from you. It has got to be a very, very intensive chaos. So they create a very, very intensive chaos. That can be sometime in the morning when you're getting up. That can be all of a sudden you're just sitting somewhere, or even you can even be on a holiday. You're just sitting somewhere and everything is nice, everything is good with you guys, and all of a sudden something just starts the argument. And you just never know where did the argument start from. You don't know why you're arguing, but you just found yourself arguing factually for a couple of minutes without actually the narcissist backing off. Because when they realize that actually now you're at the peak of the argument, that's when now they back down. And as soon as they back down, that's where the transaction is done. You know what I mean? Because the higher you go in the argument, the higher you raise your voices, and the more intensive the argument gets, they're waiting for that peak. So when the two of you are at that peak of the argument, that's where now they back down. And that is what automatically, that is where spiritually, that's where the transaction happens. That's where the transaction takes place. That is why you drop your energy levels instantly. They will raise you up, and when you are at the peak of the argument, they will back down very quickly. And that is where the transaction happens. That is the exact moment that the transaction of the energy, whatever energy you have with you, drops over to the narcissist. And that's how they steal your energy. So guys, it's been my 2 ways. There can be other ways that narcissists use to steal energy from me. There can be other methods, but these are the 2 ways I've seen myself and I know. And I just want to share with you guys. Other than that, guys, it can't get any longer than this. It's been a really beautiful day to speak with you guys, and I wish you a blessed rest of the week. Much love and blessings. There's more signing out.